Good evening. I call to order the meeting of the Mayor and Board of Trustees of the Village of Burr Ridge for Monday, January 9, 2023. Dave, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, David. Roll call, please.
Trustee Francis.
Here.
Trustee Schiappa.
Here.
Trustee Paveza.
Here.
Trustee Snyder.
Yes.
Trustee Mattal. Here. Trustee Smith.
Here.
Mayor Grasso.
Here. I need a motion from board members to allow Trustee Snyder, who gave proper notice that he would not be able to be physically present tonight, to attend by Zoom or telephone.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Welcome, Joe.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
All right, that takes us to the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine by the board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda, discussed, opened for public comment, and voted upon during this meeting. 5 minutes. A, approval of regular board meeting of December 12, 2022. B, receive and file water committee meeting of December 14, 2022. And C, receive and file plan commission meeting of December 19, 2022. That takes us to 8 considerations. B, approval to direct staff to prepare an ordinance approving special uses for automobile and equipment service and outdoor storage pursuant to zoning ordinance section 10F2, any special use for a fence in a non-residential district pursuant to zoning ordinance section 4J, Z24 2022 311 South Shore, DEP Burr Ridge LLC. C, approval of vendor list dated January 9, 2023 in the amount of $480,640.54 for all funds plus $418,958.48 for payroll periods ending December 10 and 24, 2022 for a grand total of $899,599.02. With that, can I get a motion to approve the following items on the consent agenda? 5, A, B, C, 8, B, and C.
So moved.
So moved.
We have a motion here by Tony. Who was the second? Joe Snyder? Second by Snyder.
Snyder.
Any discussion? Any public comment on any of these items on the consent agenda? Roll call, please.
Trustee Schiappa.
Yes.
Trustee Snyder.
Yes.
Trustee Mattal.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Trustee Francis.
Yes.
Trustee Paveza.
Yes.
6-0.
6-0, the motion passes. Takes us to 8A, consideration of street policy committee recommendation to approve the 2023 road program. David?
Russ is from the Street Policy Committee. Briefly, we'll talk about the summary of the 2022 capital program. This is where the road program ended up this past year. 2022 resurfacing program was on the Wood Creek subdivision. That's Wood Creek Drive, 16th Place. When we were there, we also called Grand Court, 82nd Street, a little further south. 82nd Street, a little further south by Gower, 89th Street. This was the first time we were on that street. It was a township road up until about 6 years ago when we annexed that, so we didn't know what to expect. We're going to get to that in a second. Cabernet Court, this was the first time we were on that road since it was constructed in 2003. Then we got Longwood Drive, Cross County Line Road on the east side, and then Lee Court as well, which is off of Shady Lane, south of Plainfield. The resurfacing contract ended up about $158,000 under budget. That's embarrassing low, but for good reason. 2 things. First was the 89th Street patching was a lot less than expected. Again, we didn't know what we were going to get into with this being the first time we were on that old township road. So we anticipated a lot of extra patching that just didn't wasn't needed in the contract. Second was the material producer strike. Our contract was extended so far into the end of the season because of that 7-week delay. Fortunately, the timing of the strike was such that none of our streets were in disarray. We had done some utility work, some underground replacement, pipe replacement, et cetera, before that. Nothing had been milled, nothing had been resurfaced before that strike began. But then 7 weeks later, we didn't end up finishing our contract until, I think it was almost early September. So the contractor had other commitments. He just could not come back to do the miscellaneous patching that was budgeted for in our contract that Jim was preparing for, our development engineer. So that amount of work just did not get really done in our contract. So we were more fortunate than most that our work did get done. The majority of all the resurfacing got done. Some of the patching did not. But some towns just either didn't get it done or they were resurfacing in December. So not always the best situation there. So we were fortunate because we got out early that we also finished, even with this 7-week delay, we finished our project. So that was the purpose of that was the result of the 2022 road program resurfacing. Crack sealing and pavement marking, those other preventative maintenance projects that we have, came in right around budget. And then the material testing services is an annual contract that we bring in with our road program for material quality assurance testing. So overall, all those contracts combined were $165,000 under budget this past year. In summary, again, how we develop our road program, how we came up with that list of streets is just trying to time the right treatment on the right road at the right time. Between a resurfacing, that's the most intrusive and the most expensive. We don't want to be on there more than the 20-year cycle that we're already at. Some of our roads are getting to 23 years. So we need to extend the pavement life of the streets that we have that are in good condition. So through processes like crack sealing, patching, cold patching too, other methods like that, we can try to extend the life of that road to keep that cycle of resurfacing longer, to keep our overall costs down as well. So that's the whole purpose of that. This is kind of the off year. We did not do a street survey this past year. We do that every 2 years. This was last done in 2021. That annual street survey evaluates our roads on 13 different distress factors that you can see from the surface. That gives us the data. That's the data that we need to develop our road program, again, to kind of program the streets for resurfacing, crack sealing, et cetera. So this is how we do it. We want you to see what we see. If you read ahead in the program, Royal Drive is one of the streets programmed for resurfacing this year. This is in the Devon of Burr Ridge subdivision, south of 87th Street, north of 91st. This is just north of 91st Street. This has a PCR of 56.2 just for the extensive cracking. That's pretty low. That's almost intolerable for us. So we want to make sure that we got this street and this entire subdivision really this coming year. Also in that same subdivision is Devon Drive. It's got the PCR of 67.5. Overall in that subdivision, I think we're right around the low 70s. Some streets are fair. These are just really poor and bringing it all down. And then Aintree Lane, which is just off of 87th Street, just east of Madison, east of Polo Ridge Court. Aintree Lane is the entrance to that subdivision. Looks a little better, but again, these PCR values were done in 2021. These pictures were taken in 2023, so those PCRs would be expected to decline. Looking forward, future years, Forest Edge subdivision has a lower pavement condition rating. However, we're waiting on a couple of private development projects. There's a home under construction and there's another one being built now. So we're just going to put that off to next year. Arrowhead Farm subdivision has been on our radar for several years. The entrance looks fairly good right off of German Church Road, but further down as you get by like Navajo Court, Omaha Drive, you start to see more cracking in parts of those subdivisions. So we know we want to get in there next year, 2024. Cambridge Estates was last resurfaced in 2001. This is the last of the subdivisions that was resurfaced on our programs in 2001, so we're going to be there in 2024. So again, that's a 23-year type cycle that we're getting at. So our 2023 proposed road program is again the Devon of Burr Ridge subdivision. That's the subdivision shown here in blue, south of 87th, north of 91st, between Madison and County Line Road. The entire subdivision was resurfaced in 2001. So we're excited that we can do the entire subdivision now in 2023. Also then we're continuing with those preventative maintenance projects, crack sealing, pavement patching. We're going to get to that this year, get to that a little bit earlier. Then in future years, in 2024, We've got, again, the Cambridge Estates, the Arrowhead Farm, Forest Edge, and then this long one is 83rd Street between South Frontage Road and Madison Street, or County Line Road. That's going to be engineered this year using Rebuild Illinois bond funds next year in the amount of about $695,000. We've just got to follow the IDOT process with that road in particular. So we've got to engineer it this year, put it out to bid next year for 2024. This is a proposed 2023 proposed road program. Total is $954,500, which puts us on par with what we've done in other years. This is keeping up our pavement conditions. This year we finished at $799,480. That was budgeted. Again, we came in about $165,000 under that because of the one resurfacing contract. Next year we're proposed at $954,000. Again, $54,000 of that is that design engineering contract. In that future year, we're at $1,480,000. But that takes into account, again, that $700,000 83rd Street resurfacing with the Rebuild Illinois bond fund. So that's not village funds. So that really wraps up the 23 proposed road program. What the Street Policy Committee heard also was that motor fuel tax, which is the green line shown at the bottom, increased a little bit this year because of the 2020 census. Motor fuel tax is based on residential population only, not on miles of roads, not anything else factorable like that, but based on population, based on the 2020 census. We're getting an additional $29,900 anticipated in future years. So next year we anticipate $477,000. That's inadequate really to fund the entire motor fuel. Motor fuel tax is inadequate to fund the road program. Staff is proposing as part of the budget process that you'll see later to use motor fuel tax for other uses that the general fund currently pays for. Motor fuel tax is eligible to pay for various road maintenance projects like tree trimming, other salaries of people that maintain the roads, the road salt contract, just various uses, the local match on the Elm Street culvert. There's all sorts of things that the general fund would be paying for. Motor fuel tax can pay for that instead. What that allows us to do is take the IDOT review out of the mix. When we don't use the state funds, we don't have to get IDOT approval. We did that in 2019, and we had good success with that, and that accelerated our road program. It also opened up bidding. So we got out earlier. We were able to open it up to more bidders. We had more competitive bids. With that, going forward in this year, if we could stick to the no motor fuel tax funded project, our development engineer anticipates that we'll be awarding a contract by the end of February, which is remarkably early. Typically, we're just out to bid by the end of February. So we're really going to get out in front of this, we hope. So that's the 2023 proposed road program. Let me ask you any questions.
Any questions for David? Okay, the Street Policy Committee met just before this meeting. Trustee Francis, Trustee Schiappa, Trustee Paveza, and myself as chairman. We recommended this program to the board. So if there's no other questions, can we get a motion to approve the 2023 road program?
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion from the public? Roll call, please.
Trustee Paveza?
Yes.
Trustee Matal?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
Trustee Schiappa?
Yes.
Trustee Snyder?
Yes.
6-0, the motion passes. That takes us to item 9, public comment. Is there any public comment? All right, no public comment. That takes us to reports and communications of village officials. Anyone?
Well, I just want to add that the staff is working very hard to prepare fun activities for the residents later this year. Some of them are Run the Ridge, Armed Forces Day, and concerts on the green. So stay tuned for more information, and hope everyone's staying warm and enjoying the Christmas holiday lights. They do bring a lot of cheer into the village, and it keeps it festive. So.
Thank you, Anita. Anyone else?
New Year.
Okay, I have a few announcements. First of all, Happy New Year. Also, as some of you may have heard or read, our state representative for Burr Ridge, Jim Durkin, tendered his resignation, I think effective today. And so he has now resigned as our representative. There's no indication right now as to who will replace him. It's a Republican seat, so it'll be a Republican choice. When I find out more about that, I'll let you know. The police department is going to throw a burglary seminar for the residents of Burr Ridge, January 25th at the police department at 6:30? 6:30. I encourage people to attend. Are they going to be able to video in or anything, Zoom in or? Okay, in person, please try to attend. We are having burglary. We have stuff in Burr Ridge. It's happening in Oak Brook, Hinsdale, Willow Springs, Willowbrook, everywhere around us. There's more and more burglaries. People are still leaving their key fobs in their cars. Please don't. Understand that if you leave the key fob there, you also give them probably access to your home. And so you have to be more vigilant and diligent. So try to attend the meeting on January 25th, 6:30 at the police department.
Mr. Mayor, there is registration required for that seminar, correct?
You're
Yes, there's an email online
for 50?
that you can access to RSVP,
Okay.
but otherwise free to attend.
Popular, we'll add to other meetings.
I was just going to suggest that that would be a good idea. So hopefully it's too popular. Finally, all three trustees are running for reelection. No other candidates put in petitions. There have been no challenges to the three, so we'll have an intact board again after the next election cycle. And we have run, please look on the website. Did you put the summary of the 22 accomplishments?
Yes.
Look at the accomplishments of the village in 2022 listed on the website. For all the years that I've sat in this chair, it's a pretty impressive year of what's been accomplished, how fiscally strong we are, the things we were able to achieve in 2022. I think it just shows that we have an excellent board and an excellent staff, excellent police department, excellent public works. And so things are running very well in the village of Burr Ridge. Please look at that summary on the website. I think you'll be impressed. And with that, can I get a motion to go into closed session and then adjourn to January 23 at 7 p.m. in order to discuss minutes of meeting lawfully closed under this act for purposes of approval by the body of the minutes, 5 ILCS 120-2C21, and for collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees of their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees under 5 ILCS 122C2.
Mayor, before we go in there, I'd like to publicly thank Trustee Schiappa for assisting both Trustee Preveza and myself and my fellow trustees for all their assistance and Tony's specific guidance on how to really do the election and do all the chasing, et cetera. So just want to say that before we go into closed session. Thank you, Trustee Schiappa,
Okay,
and my
so
fellow trustees.
can I get a motion?
So moved.
So move.
We have a second by Schneider. I need a roll call, please.
Trustee Paveza?
Yes.
Trustee Snyder?
Yes.
Trustee Matal?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Francis?
Yes.
Trustee Schiappa?
Yes.
6-0, the motion passes. We're in closed session.